Hi guys, welcome back to another Doodly session. Today we'll be looking at the custom path feature where you can customize how the hand draws your image or the drawing. Okay, let's get started. I'm starting my Doodly. Okay, so to give you an idea, this is what I'm looking at. If you look at this video, you get an idea what I mean by custom path. So if you notice, the hand draws the image in a particular style that I want it to draw. It looks more like it's a real art. So that's what a custom path is, and today we'll see how to do that. Okay, we go back, create a new video. Okay, the first thing we need is to get a custom image. I'm pretty sure you can use any one of the images, but in our example I would like to just pick a custom image, drag it, maximize it so you can have a better high quality image, preferably in the middle. And if you notice on the top, along with the other icons, there is one icon called edit. So when you click on edit, it takes you to a custom path settings where you will be able to customize. So if you look at the settings on the right side, first one is the live preview. It shows you how the image is going to be drawn. So if you notice, the image is drawn just like a sliding action, and if you click on the image, it shows you in the middle and you see how it's going to be drawn. The second one is the background, what background you want to have. Right now it's white, that's the default. You can change it to black, and that's how the image looks, or you can make it transparent. So depending on your choice, you can pick any one of these options. So typically I would go with white if my image has either blacks or darker colors. I will go with black if it has lighter colors. So that's your preference. Save and return. As the name says, if you make a change, you can save and return back to the Doodly interface. Return without saving is you don't want to save, just return with the old one as is. The tools, the arrow is to select a path and then make a change to the positions. The plus button is to add new path, and the minus button is to delete any path that you don't want. So I'll show you what exactly these are. The path size is how thick the drawing should be. So the thicker, it covers more area, the thinner, it covers less area. The zoom buttons are to zoom into your image, so it's much easier for you to draw your path. And then the reveal mode. So right now the reveal mode is draw, where the image is will be drawn. If you select fade, it just fades in and fades out, and you can control the animation, how slow, how fast it has to fade. Okay, also notice when you select fade, there are no path information, so the fade is a simple fade. Let's go back to draw, and now we have path. So initially the path it is showing is the slide action, but what I want is I want to draw the borders first and then start filling in it. Okay, so let me, okay, so let's get started. This will move it up and down. You can increase or decrease the zoom, so I prefer this one. Right now my custom path size is at the minimum, extreme left. So let me start by drawing this oval shape. So click on one of the ends and then you can start. So if you notice, my custom path is really a tiny thin red line. So let me add and finish. Now you can increase to see the custom path slowly changes. So if you want a very accurate or more accurate control on this, you can always use the right arrow key to increase or the left arrow key to decrease. The idea is to cover the image so that the path covers the border of the image completely. So we don't want the path to be away or inside or away, so that the image misses out. We want to make sure the path covers the border in the middle. So, and second thing is, you can always go to one of those points and you can drag and drop to control where and how it appears. So now if you see, when you click on the preview, it draws that image, and if you see there is a disconnect on the top, so what I can do is I can go back and then move it. Now you can see it completely covers again. So depending on your positions, the drawing looks different. So I generally try to make sure the blue dots are in the middle of my image. So that way, if you notice, the area at the bottom looks more thinner than the area on the top. That's because these positions of these dots are not consistent. So move them and make that way they are consistent. And if you by accidentally click on different places, it gets messed up. You can always go click on this delete button. Your mouse pointer should change to a pointer with a minus symbol, and then delete anything that you don't want. So let me go back and reposition so it looks consistent, the thickness is consistent. So now if you see, I have drawn the outline. Now if I want to fill the stuff inside, so I would always recommend one path for each type of changes you are making. So path 1, I want this oval boundaries. I'll click on the path 2 using this button. So when path 2 is selected, I can start drawing from one place to another. So again, this you can always control, but what I would do is, when you're trying to fill in, increase the path size maybe another 2 or 3 points, so you don't have to spend a lot of time drawing. So, and I just keep moving. The idea is to make sure we fill in the gaps, and it's up to you how you wanted to draw. I'm just doing zigzag, but you can fill in whatever the style you want. So something like this, something like this. Oops. You can always Control Z if you mess it up. And make sure and if you get messed up and if you accidentally select the wrong path, go click on the path here and the right one will get selected. So once you have drawn, make sure secondly make sure there is no gaps. So in this case, if you see there are a couple of oranges, so either you can start moving to close the gaps, or another easy way would be to increase the path size. In this case I'm using my arrow key. Right. So that's how you just keep moving, resizing, making sure the gaps are closed. almost there with this. Okay, now if you see the image, it draws the oval and then it starts filling in, and you can always control the speed of the drawing. You can see it's much slower, so it gives more of a hand-drawn effect. There. Now just follow the same process and start adding path for all the parts of the image. So create a new path and then start drawing. The beauty is, if you have an incorrect path size, you can still continue drawing and then you can change the path size later on. So in this case I did, and then I can go back and click on the path size and start decreasing or increasing, and then I move it so that my path is right in these blue dots are exactly on the almost exactly at the middle of the borders, so that way they don't look too thin or too thick. They throughout the image they look consistent. Now if you look at this drawing, you can see I have oval gets filled in, and then I have another shape. In this case I haven't filled it, so it still shows up. Then another next thing would be start another path, and depending on how many dots, how accurately you draw, it has your drawing looks so natural. So let me quickly go ahead and finish this instead of wasting your time, and then I will show you the final product once my drawing is complete. There you go guys, I think I pretty much finished. Let me click on this to see how it comes up, and there you go. So if you notice carefully, there are some white patches, so that's a good indication for you to know that you missed those pieces. So you can always go back and move those points, the path points, to adjust. And once you do that, your image is ready. Next, what you can do is you can always make it slower or faster depending on the duration speed, the animation duration, so it looks more, your users will be able to see what exactly is happening and how the image is being drawn. Okay, so that's with the image path. Let's save and return back. Before I forget, one more thing is you can always rename these paths, that way you know what each path is. So this one I can call it top, something like that, so that way you know which path is what. And I'm pretty sure you can also change the order. So instead of starting with the oval, if you want to start with path 3, which is the right side, you can move it and then when you look at the animation, it starts from that particular piece. So you have a lot of flexibility on how you want these items to be ordered. Or sometimes, let's say I want to draw the oval path and then also fill it right away. Instead of just doing the borders, you can customize those features. So once you're happy with your image path, save and return. Now when you preview, you should see the hand actually draw the image. Okay, that went too fast. You can always control how fast, how slow by going to the right side and changing the durations. Let's preview. Now this is much slower compared to the previous one. You can make it even more slower. One thing to note is the slower your hand moves, you will see a jerky movement. So try not to go beyond a certain number, else your hand will look as if it's jumping between the scenes. It would not be very smooth. Also, if you notice, there are some gaps in my drawing, but once the entire image is drawn, it automatically fills in those gaps, so you don't have to worry. But ideally you want to make sure all the gaps are filled in so that the drawing looks more natural. That's about it, guys, for the today's session. I wanted to show you how to create a custom path, so it gives you a unique way of creating your Doodly video. See you later in another tutorial. If you can, just subscribe to the channel, it supports me. Thank you. Bye.